Alright, hello and good night, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Gamers at Large podcast episode 32. This is the first podcast since the official announcement of our network. We've got just about everyone here, including a brand new member. But before I get into that, I'd just like to do all the introductions here, starting from my left. Andre, GVGINU, what's going on, man?
Hello, people. Welcome into another Gamers at Large, the first official for the network. Congratulations to us all, because we rock.
Ah, yes. We all rock, and that's a self-congratulatory pat in the back. Okay, next up we've got Jamie Butterwood. What's going on?
Oh, what's up, guys and gals? Of course, no gals on the podcast, but, you know,
Ooh.
details. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
But it's gal in and of itself.
There we go.
At L gal. Okay, close enough. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to the first Gamers at Large podcast on the Gamers at Large Hub channel, and we hope to bring you a lot more in the future.
All right. We're going to skip a guy here. Next up, we got Ken Jefferson.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Feelgood here, the guy with the smooth moves and groovy tunes in the gaming mood, coming at you, and I'm just happy to be here today.
Okay, Mr. T.
Hey there, fools. It's Mr. T of the Mr. T Show. I'm very excited about the Gamers at Large Network.
All right, and our brand new member, introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Mr. Red Fox. As the Zen Gamer said, I'm the newest member, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Quan Manchu.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
All right, short and sweet. Now, I'm your host today, Ninzanda the Zen Gamer, and before you start freaking out, no, that isn't a clone of Quan, and no, a large black man didn't eat him. We just have a rotation of hosts going on here, so you're going to get a different flavor of hosting, and, you know, it's just going to be a good thing. So every week you're going to get someone new in the hosting seat. This time, with a luckily or unluckily so, we started late, so you can blame that on me, as I am your host. But before I talk your ears off, let's get into some topics. So who's got the first one? Should I shoot it on over to Jamie?
All right, sure. I'll take the first one. All right, so we're going to start with a depressing topic here. All right, so GameStop is introducing credit cards with a 27% APR. And they're also they're also demanding fingerprints on trade-ins. So is it the monopoly?
I'm sorry about that.
So the monopoly of the worst and only really gaming store couldn't get any worse. Well, it has. So
No, it could always get worse.
well, that's what they keep showing us.
You know what the dangerous thing about this, man? The dangerous thing about this is that the kids that go in there to get games, they're going to see, hey, I can have a credit card, and they're going to fall for this hook, line, and sinker. So no matter how we bad talk this, no matter how we put up warnings about this, shout out to Alpha Omega Sin, did a very excellent video about this previously, I think yesterday or the day before. No matter how YouTubers or those on the internet speak out, no matter how the word gets out there, this is going to be successful. You can already say it. This is going to be successful. There's no doubt about it. It's just sad that it is, and this thing is going to completely, GameStop and credit. At which point was that a good mix?
I can see it right now. A whole bunch of college kids getting very broke saying, Dad, Mom, I need more money.
See, this is where I want to make a quick point. You know, the U.S. is $16 trillion in debt, and 95% of that debt is to us. All right? So GameStop's going to add an additional $1 trillion on top of that, thanks to this credit card.
Oh, man, this is just...
That is weird. We owe ourselves money.
Yeah,
If I could make one point here, if you have to basically put your games on basically some sort of layaway plan via credit card to play games, you need to invest in a whole other hobby.
Hey,
That's why it's going to be successful. Like Zen said, this is going to be successful because I know when I was younger, you know, and this is going to be targeted towards younger gamers for sure. You know, the ones that can't afford all the games they want. And so this is a way to get all the games you want. This is exactly what they want to do, and this is going to be successful for them, not for us.
I don't mean to promote a company here, but people, don't do this. Just sign up for GameFly. $16 a month. Please save yourself.
No, I have to say this much though. This is vastly different from layaway because I mean with layaway, like you get like I don't know, you can get like $200, $300, $400 worth of games, pay that off over a period of time, and you're done. With a credit card, yeah, you might get $400 worth of games, but you're paying like maybe $500 for it over time. And so you basically just gave them an extra $100 for a product that you don't have.
That was just what I was about to harp on. I mean, you can be buying a $60 game and end up paying like maybe what,
74.
87?
Yeah,
so somewhere in the 80s, 70s or 80s for that game.
I mean, because I'll be frank with you. I mean, you know, I used to be broke and look, layaway Kmart was my friend.
Used to be.
Kmart was my friend. Used to be my friend. Now they when they got bought up by Sears, just the quality.
They kind of screwed up.
But anyway, look, they used to be my gaming hub during the N64 days.
Yeah, this is very different from layaway though. Layaway, you're paying for it with your own money.
Yeah.
You don't get the game until you pay for it. Layaway. Yeah. This, you get the game right away, and you paying for it for the next 500 years.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And Lord, don't miss a payment. They'll get you with that compounded interest.
I'm scared to see what the credit limit is.
Can't wait to see the long list of people who are going to end up owing GameStop.
So I can already see this happening right now. There's going to be a lot of people paying Neo Geo prices for games.
Oh, man.
Pretty much.
Lord. Oh, Lord, the Neo Geo.
But in Neo Geo's defense, you at least got high quality for what it was.
Yeah.
You're not going to get quality.
But, I mean, there's something worse in this announcement. They're fingerprinting people? I mean, I've traded in.
I've actually heard that they've already been doing that in California to some extent.
That is, I mean, I've traded in. Well, actually, no. The only system I've ever traded in, and I didn't really trade it in. It was like defective, and I returned it. Was my I got one new PS3 because I upgraded from the other one, and it didn't work. And I've never heard of that, trading in. Fingerprinting people for trading in a console. I mean, I could see if this was a car or, you know.
Nope, I'm gonna have to disagree. I have heard of this. I'm gonna tell you where I've heard of this. Pawn shops. Pawn shops do it all the time.
Right.
I'm actually surprised they haven't started doing this earlier because one of the things that GameStop does is that they won't take your game. Like if you say you bought a game from GameStop and you opened it. And you brought it back. If you don't have a receipt, they won't take it because they feel that you could have bought that game anyway. You could have stole it, and so that's their way of being, security. So now they can get by that. They'll take that stolen game now because they can fingerprint you, and the onus is on you now. It's not on them anymore. So this is just all part of them, getting a broader reach, and getting more revenue.
Yeah, but
oh, I don't like it. What I'm saying is that this is part of the GameStop growing ever so bigger, and
The thing is, man, with all the scummy stuff that GameStop does, giving them another thing to identify me by.
Like, I mean, the thing is that like I already kind of don't like going to GameStop anyway because every time I go there, I have people telling me, "Hey, don't buy any of the Nintendo stuff." Or if they don't say that, in order to find the Nintendo section, I have to hire a forensic lab to find it. And I try not. I do a lot of Amazon. I do a lot of Target and Walmart. I try to stay away from GameStop, even though those other two places, Target and Walmart and Amazon, are kind of bad within themselves. And when I can, I go to my local game store, which their prices are pretty good.
Right on, right on. So moving on to the next topic, I suppose. Speaking of companies that have no place, bringing up new ways to give them money, EA. And EA Access. They have a new subscription service for DLC and for other things that EA provides. Now, again, GameStop plus credit equals bad. EA plus subscription, bad.
Mm.
There should be no. There should be no. You should be unsure about this.
Well, here's one thing to make sure to mention. No, this is not going to Sony platforms.
Oh yes, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But
Please do.
the thing is, man, come on. I mean, it's EA. It is EA. Who would do this? Who would
Except
go
EA.
for this?
That's it. EA.
I mean, with all the stuff that EA has done to people, why would they say, you know what, I'm going to sign up for a subscription now from the same people that have numerous times over screwed me over?
Well,
Why?
there are just that many EA fans out there.
But this is...
I don't think there are EA fans. I think there are people who are fans of certain EA franchises, but I don't think they're exactly, EA fans. They might like Madden or Battlefield or whatever else EA puts out. I try not to play their games, but I don't think they're like go EA,
But if I may jump out of character for a moment here with this particular subject, what this is actually leaning to is basically we're moving to a phase where renting games and never truly owning them is what's going to happen. And to me, I don't want that to happen because if you look at PlayStation now, if you look at all these other, even Steam and things like that, even though you kind of own the game, but at the same time, even with PlayStation Plus, you don't own the game. You can have access to that free game as long as you continue to subscribe to that service. The moment you stop, you no longer have access to that game. And this is just another version of Netflix for gaming in a sense because basically, hey, we'll like to stream these select titles and we're going to add more and this and that. But, A, I don't believe we have the bandwidth to support that, not realistically. And B, I don't want to just have to own my games and only be able to play them via online, which is basically another version of DRM. Yeah. I mean, that's basically all it is. We're at a point where they're trying to push streaming games and basically, which is a glorified rental service rather than owning games.
Well, this all leads back to something Peter Moore said in some interview to some website. I think it could have been IGN or someplace like that. He was mentioning in part of the interview how he doesn't want gamers to have control over certain aspects of gaming, and I'm like, why? I mean, but that's the thing. Customers do have control. They don't want. I mean, I don't want someone controlling when I can game or how I can game or what form of media I can use to play my game. That's and the worst thing is that they're not even. I mean, looking at the games they're going to put on this service, they aren't exactly what I would call what's the top tier titles. And they're like last year's top tier titles. Last year's, So why in the world? Why would I want to pay $30 a year for games that literally I could take $30 and get all of them and still have some money left over? Physically.
It really is sad. And some people are going to give into this, but my response to Peter Moore's statement is, when I buy a steak from the grocery store, you don't have the right as a company to tell me how and when to cook it.
Yeah.
My thing is, if I buy the steak, if it stays in my freezer until it gets freezer burned, that's my business. If I cook it that same day, that's my business. Once I purchase something from you, you can't tell me what to do with it. Yeah, we're actually giving them that power when we invest in stuff like PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus and this EA thing.
God. Well, I mean that's the thing. Like I hear people always talking about how PS Plus is such a great value, and disclosure, I get a lot of special offers for PS Plus. So every once in a while I'll cash in one for like a month or whatever. And I look at the games like, hey, you can get this lineup of games. I'm like, most of these games I already have either on other consoles that came out like a while ago, or they aren't like very they aren't like really they aren't top tier games. And if they are, it's just the game with none of the DLC. It's like, my God, these aren't very good deals. I mean, you're calling them deals, but they aren't very good deals.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have
man.
to say, back in January when PlayStation Plus is letting one of their free games is Uncharted 3, I was like, wow, I will get that. But at the same time, I don't want to keep continuously subscribe to PlayStation Plus because
Yeah.
I'm already paying for Xbox Live,
Yeah.
which is basically a requirement, and still is in a sense. I'm used to it, but PlayStation Plus, I was like, no, I'll just go buy the game for 25, $30 and get to keep it, even though I'm not using PlayStation Plus.
Yep. Yep.
Now, talking about PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, our good friend over in IGN, Colin Moriarty, had, great things to
Oh my
say
gosh.
about the pricing of PlayStation Now. He said, and I quote, "It was reasonable." Now, anyone who has seen these prices knows, without even thinking, that is not reasonable. It is absolutely ridiculous that they would think that he would say that. Because
I got
I'm
one
reading this thing.
response.
Hang on. I'm reading this thing, and I'm like, okay, so did they change the prices? Did something happen to make him come to this new conclusion? No, same prices, and it's great, according to him. So when he
I got a single response.
Oh Lord.
That's my response.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say about reasonable is this: $30 to rent a game for what? What is it? 30 days for $30?
Yeah.
So
Xbox price.
30 days to
Let me
rent a
be sure.
game for, or maybe it's like 90. Maybe it's like 3 months.
90 days.
Yeah,
The most expensive
renting
thing
a
I'm seeing
game
here.
for 3 months that I could go, because most of those games on the list you can go to GameStop, maybe whatever, or even you can get for $19.99. Look, 30 days to buy a game that I could, $30 to buy a game to rent a game for 3 months that I could buy for $20. That is not reasonable. That is called robbery. That's literally, you have just hit me over the head, knocked me out, turned me over, reached in my back pocket and got my wallet and just took $30 out my wallet and laughed and ran away.
That's called assholery.
Just to show that we're not being, biased or anything here, or you're just not, taking a dump on something that could potentially be a good thing. Would anyone here pay $5.99 for Catherine for 7 days?
No.
Hey,
I'd rather
what
buy
game?
it.
Catherine.
No.
No.
I'd rather just
Definitely
buy,
not.
if I really want it, I'd rather just buy it.
You could probably find it for that price over there at GameStop now.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that game's too long. That game's too long to try to say you're gonna only play that in 4 days? I think it is 4 or 5 days.
That's a 7 day.
7 days.
That's
Yeah.
7
I mean,
days.
unless you're not just gonna do anything but just play that. Game.
unless you are really good at playing punishingly hard games, you are not going to get through that game in 7 days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They don't,
There's no way.
they don't want you to. They want you to come back or
But hey,
do the 3-month deal.
They're like
here's the thing.
junkies.
Here's the thing.
They're like drug dealers.
For $14.99, you can get it for 90 days. Wait, hang on. Can't I buy that for $9.99 on Amazon? Oh yeah, I could.
Exactly. That's the thing. These prices are so. It's basically like Sony is acting like they have the market cornered, right? I mean, it's like they're acting like there's no place else you can go. When I can go other places and get these games for cheaper, so why am I listening to you? It's like why am I,
We gotta understand. We're looking at it from a bubble. Like we're in tune. We're gamers. This ain't for us. They don't expect us to do this. They
Yeah.
expect those new consumers that they've been touting about for PlayStation 4 to dive into this service. That's what they're expecting.
I don't think they're stupid enough to fall for it either.
I don't know.
I gotta
yeah,
side with Mr. T on this one. That I got a feeling there's a sucker born every minute. Remember that.
Well, I understand that, but the thing is like all things, I know there's going to be people that are going to jump in, but like all things, people get tired of getting taken advantage of. They get tired of it, and I mean, eventually, they're going to be like, hey, these people are taking advantage of me. They're selling me an inferior product at higher prices. I mean, and it might take a while. I mean, but. Look, remember when Call of Duty was like the major big thing, and yet year over year, the sales have been going down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Rock Band? Oh man, everyone had to have Rock Band with all the peripherals, and then Rock Band died.
Mm.
I mean, it'll eventually people will say, wait a second, I can get this game, the physical version of this game, for like $20, and you want to rent it to me for 30.
But
That may be true, and I don't disagree with that. But the problem is that time is about 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah,
they gonna make some money by then.
oh yeah, they're gonna make money.
They're gonna try really hard to make that money back because they invested in that technology, Gaikai, so they're gonna try to make that money back.
And that's the thing, like the streaming. Like I saw some guy on the YouTube, forget his name. He was showing the streaming, like half of the games. If you don't have a dynamite internet connection with like nothing else on your network at the time, you are just, even with that, it's gonna be laggy and sometimes it won't work.
But see, they won't. Anybody that even considers this, they won't read the fine print. Like when you sign up for Netflix, it doesn't tell you that you have to have a connection that's at least 3 to 5 megs a second download. It simply says requires an internet connection. But then when you turn on the movie with your 60-inch television, like why is the quality so low? Then you go read the fine print. You make a call. They say, well, to get high def, you need 8-9 megs a second. Well, what do you have? I only have 3. Well, good luck with that.
I hope there's no fool out there trying that mess on dial-up.
you just SOL at that point. But I mean, I understand. I understand that counterpoint. I'm just simply saying that it's kind of like when people were talking about how OnLive was going to change everything, and I was like, like
we don't know how that turned out.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I mean, I don't know. I don't like. Okay, I know in places like Japan, if you're in the city, they have really good internet connection. But if you leave the cities, if you go out to the countryside, good luck getting a cell signal.
Exactly. I mean, these services, while they may be innovative, they might be the future and all that, but we are not in the future yet. We're just not there yet. No. You are selling a service to a fraction of of your fan base.
PlayStation Now would be good if it had come if they had literally done it like 2 years and the infrastructure was a little bit better. It would be, I would say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But right now, with what they have on there, they have like PS3 games on there that are laggy, some of which you can't even get a connection on, even if you have a good internet connection. And they still haven't talked about the PS2 and PS1 games. I'm like, I don't really. I
have a question. Do the purchases from the PlayStation Store migrate over to PlayStation Now or not?
I don't know.
No.
To be honest.
I think it's a separate entity altogether.
No.
Yeah, so that means they're double dipping on top of that.
Yep.
Yes. Just like how the PS4 to the PS3 to PS4 and the Xbox 360 to Xbox One, like your friend list migrates over, but all those digital purchases you made, you got to do all that all over again, even if stuff is on both. And I find that to be a bit offensive. I'm sorry.
You see, here's the thing. Here's another problem I can find with PlayStation Now is that the list of games they have are not necessarily those that will draw a huge amount of people to a Sony service.
Zen, what are you talking about, man? They got Last of Us.
Oh, come on, really? Really? That's just a whole can of worms I really don't want to open up right now.
Dude, that remaster though.
Oh, you just had to, right?
I mean, but when we talking about the game came out last year, they remastered it just recently for the new console, but yet they want to launch PlayStation Now and offer what game? The Last of Us on PS3.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes Sony does stuff, and I'm like, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe someone actually did that. Someone actually went and had to put out a thing saying I plan to do this business plan to do this thing in the market, and someone signed off on it and said that's a good idea. I'm shocked.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. In PlayStation Now, the games that they had were 70-80% exclusive games. games you could only get on a Sony machine, particularly a Sony machine that you can't get very easily anymore, PS1, PS2. Yeah, I can see the service being a huge success because you're offering something no one can access anywhere else easily. But I'm looking at these games, and these games are fairly modern games that are multi-plat, so I'm like, which can be found easily and cheaper, as we just talked about. So I really don't see what I just don't. I just don't. If you really want a service, build a PC and go Steam. It's a better option.
I mean, but to me, the common sense thing to look at this is, okay, how in the hell are you going to charge me $30 for a 90-day rental when the game itself I can actually get? And I mean, it's pretty much common sense known that I can get it for 20 or 30 bucks. You can't charge me the same price for a rental as you would to purchase. Even in your own store, the game is lower than what you're asking us to rent it for.
Absolutely ridiculous. But I guess we should move on because we could just talk the night away on this because it's so bad. But anyway, does anyone else have anything to add to what we've said, or should we move on?
I think this is just part of the stranglehold that they want to put on digital copies versus physical. To me, that they seem to be pushing digital for that reason. You know what I'm saying? So they could get a better control over their product instead of letting the control rest in the hands of the consumer, the person who actually spends the money on the product. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, this comes down to games like Knack being so highly traded.
No, man. Another kind of worms I prefer not to open.
They're losing that money. They want to keep that money. So they're like, okay, if we can control the market where you can spend it, then we can get our cut back.
Yep, Knack Bandicoot.
I wish it was Knack Bandicoot.
Before we move on, I really can't understand how even just the newest of gamers can't look at this from a common sense perspective and just say to themselves, why? I mean, I know so many people out there that just actually plan on going all digital, and to me it's so stupid because when servers go offline, or like some Xbox games, like one that I bought, it was a Namco Museum game that had like all the classic games on Xbox 360. Do you know that even when I bought the physical disc, I have to connect it to the internet to play that game? I bought the physical disc of the game in store, brand new. It didn't come with any kind of online code, but when my Xbox is not connected to the network, I cannot play those games. It still has a log on. I'm like, well, what's the purpose of the physical disc if I still need an internet connection?
So what you just said, like common sense ain't all that common.
So essentially, you're telling me DRM.
Yeah, basically, it's existed long before now. Because I'm dead serious. If you go buy like an Xbox Live Arcade game on disc, like I think like Peggle or Namco Museum, like I just said, try to play those games on the Xbox, like disconnect it and see what happens. You cannot play the game.
I have those games, but I have the digital versions. I never really bought physical versions of the arcade games, so I can't say for sure that's what happens. But I'll take your word for it, and I'm so that's bad.
I mean, it really is terrible. I'm thinking to myself, well, I want the physical game, so because at that time when I found this out, I was actually getting my internet installed. So I said, I'm going to go online and play this game. I mean, I'm going to just put this game in and play it real quick. I like the Pac-Man HD version or whatever, and the shit just would not start up. It didn't tell me it needed internet connection, but it kept going in a loop. I would pick the game, it would load, and go right back to the title screen, and it kept doing that.
Wow. That is, goddamn, man.
Capcom did the same thing on the PS3 with their Capcom Special Collection with Final Fight and Magic Sword. If you weren't online, you couldn't play it.
Even the physical disc, you cannot play it. And
no, it's a digital download, but I'm like, it's a digital download. I mean, I can understand because you can play like co-op with people online, but if you're just doing a single game, why do I need to be online to play this game?
Even Steam has an offline mode.
Yeah, but...
All right, so our next topic comes from Red Fox. Take it away, man.
Basically, it's very simple. People need to stop listening to stuff on NeoGAF, especially if it's something that goes against what like 32 years of a company's history in video games says. because when you do that, if you believe it and you start getting really passionate about it, it doesn't turn out well for you. Case in point, a recent thing they did that caused Player Essence to blow up was apparently some random post on NeoGAF talking about how someone wants to run out Iwata at Nintendo, which is funny considering that his approval rating went up and he was reaffirmed. His approval rating actually went up, but whatever. Which seems like a stupid idea to run someone out when his approval rating goes up, whatever. But and then basically they want to get Hiroshi Yamauchi's grandson to take his place, apparently, and he wants to. He lords over his outsider status against people who have been internally with Nintendo for a long time. Basically, it came across as a clickbait, troll bait article, and they're generally speaking, the post's verification came from another NeoGAF forum member. So it was like it's like basically writing a paper and saying that your source is yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, it just if it's NeoGAF, take it with a grain of salt. A very big grain of salt.
You see, the thing is with this, man, is when are people going to learn that very, very outlandish rumors have a less than 1% chance of even being true? Like, if these things sound so left field when you compare it to what the company, entity, person is accustomed to doing, what you know them to do.
Nintendo Fusion.
Good one. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Why would you even believe this? Why would anyone believe that? I mean, does that sound like something that would happen within Nintendo? It doesn't. No.
The
So
thing is,
you need to base your belief in certain rumors. I'm not saying don't believe any rumor ever, because rumors sometimes do come true. However, base it in reality. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, if someone walked up to you, told you, hey, I have a rumor the sun won't rise tomorrow morning, but you've lived your entire life and every morning it did, would you just straight up believe that rumor? No. You would scrutinize it to hell. So why? I don't understand. I really don't.
This seems really unique to video gaming. I don't know when this happened and when it started happening. That rumors have become like fact that we've been waiting to to hear confirmations on. And I just don't. I never understood. Like I don't know when that happened, because back in the day you read a magazine and they said this is a rumor, blah blah blah. Nobody was sitting around waiting on that rumor to come true, waiting for it to come true. Like it was definitely going to happen. Like it was a rumor. I mean, that was the point. And the fact is, anytime this is the only time you'll catch wind of, especially from Nintendo, but mostly any Japanese company. This is the first time you'll catch wind of somebody getting fired, and that's when that person gets fired, because that doesn't. There will be no leak to something like that. Especially from somebody like Iwata. You think there would ever be a leak? There would be 2 or 3 people tops who know about that, and they're not gonna leak it.
Yeah.
So that's how Japanese companies work. There is no way. That is an embarrassment to them. They see that as a shameful occurrence for something like that to get out.
But the thing is,
before they say it.
But the thing is, it's not even a Japanese thing. It's like the man was just. Like, the best time to get rid of Iwata was when they had their thing in May, or was it May, early June, whatever. Their investor meeting, and where the man wasn't there, they could have voted him out then, and it would have been the end of the day. It makes no sense for someone, we're going to get rid of this dude. Oh, he was just voted back in. Oh, okay. I mean, and then they're like, well, he doesn't want to put games on mobile. I'm like, yeah, look at all the other Japanese companies that have put their games on mobile. Look at them raking in all that money. Look at Capcom. Capcom made a mobile gaming division. Look how well they're doing right now. Oh, wait. No, they aren't. Oh, snap. Sorry.
Sale sign.
And the thing about the mobile gaming division that that they have there, it doesn't compare to what you see like the indie guys. They're selling games for like $1 a piece. Capcom's not going to do that.
Yeah.
Capcom's not going to sell a game dirt cheap because they're not going to make any profit off of it.
Yeah. And
So it makes no sense for them to make a division like this in the first place.
yeah. And the thing is like, I mean, people like the thing is, I think this was just some fans who really wanted to start something, put something out there, and wanted to cause waves in the community. But I mean, I hate to say this to you, but I mean, look, that's Nintendo's business model. Okay, they look. You buy their You want to play their games, you buy their systems. That's just how it is. Okay. You know, look, that's just how it is. I'm sorry. You know, that just, you know, it's like if you want to, it's like back in the day, if you wanted to play a VCR, if you wanted to play VCR cassette tapes, you needed a VCR.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
that's just, sorry. I mean, I know some people are kind of mad. They want to play Nintendo games on PS4 and Xbox One, but that ain't going to happen. Maybe in dreams.
Well, I don't get that whole mentality about wanting to play like the opposition's games on an opposing platform. To me, that just, if you know how a company is and how they've been doing business for decades, and you know for a fact they're not going to suddenly up and pull a Sega, why are you going to sit up here and keep demanding that they do it anyway?
Because Michael Packard said so.
Oh Lord!
But you know what though? I mean, to me, you don't hear these same people. Well, you don't hear Nintendo fans saying we want to play God of War on Wii U. Like,
Oh Lord! Can you imagine if?
No, we have God of War on Wii U. It's called Darksiders 2.
I mean, but you get the point. It's like, for some reason, these people that bash Nintendo and always spell Nintendo, their response is, well, why don't they just put their games on other consoles and leave the hardware market, just make their games for mobile and everybody else like Sega did? It's like, well, Nintendo likes the way you stay in business is by offering a product that no one else has, can duplicate, or will ever get. It will be the downfall of Nintendo. They put Mario because on other consoles because it will start getting ruined.
Because look how great Sega's been doing since they've been putting stuff on other people's stuff. I mean,
actually, Sega's been doing pretty well.
Well, that's because yeah, but most of their money's not coming from gaming. It's coming from their pachinko games and oh god, Sega pachinko games. Oh. I mean, that's where the vast majority of their profits are coming from. I mean, look at their flagship franchises that used to be really dynamite on their consoles, and now, I mean, yeah, Sega Generations was good, but I mean, when they stopped putting their games, their flagship franchises on their consoles, like it took them a while to get new franchises that were really viable on other people's stuff. Like they have Yakuza, that's really big in Japan. What was the Super Monkey Ball? Is that Sega too? Is that Sega?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's Sega.
Yeah, that's Sega. I mean, they have that, but I mean, those are new franchises that they came up with. Their flagship franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog. When was the last time you saw Alex the Kid game?
It's been forever since I was the kid.
Sonic hasn't really been the same or had that pinnacle since Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good. It's good that people want that. It's good that a wider audience can play their games, but the charm, the essence of what a Sega game is gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right. All right. Let's go on to the next topic, which is Mr. T's. Take it away.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot I had this topic. It's a pretty simple one. As you all know, and a lot of you are too, are fans of indie games. I was just wondering because to me it seems like there is at least for the broader audience of gamers, there is a reluctance or well, I guess that's good enough. A reluctance to indulge in indie games. Like it seems like they don't click with the broader audience. And I was wondering, why do you think that is? I mean, I have my own thoughts, but I was wondering what the panel here thinks about that.
Can I go first on this?
Go for it.
Okay. My thing, from what I've seen, I mean, it's not obviously this isn't going to fit everybody, but the general mold of people that are against indie games basically don't play them because they usually, one, don't push hardware, which I don't know why that has to be a necessity, and two, because they are of a supposed lower quality. Now, if they're talking maybe like, hardware preferences, yes, they probably are lower quality, but as far as game playability and fun factor, I would say they're probably higher. But this what I've witnessed is a lot of people say, I'm not going to play those cheap indie games that welfare game and stuff. That's what they treat it like. And rather than understand that, hey, a lot of your favorite studios started off as indies, support the indies now, they'll be bigger later.
Yep.
I completely agree with that, and my take on it is that we've actually given, lower budget third parties an actual designation, in the word indie, because like Andre just said, basically a lot of third parties out there started out as indies, but then we didn't call them indies back then. They were just people a small company that made games and they made good games.
Alright, basically, the word to describe them hadn't yet existed. It hadn't yet been used. The idea to call them indies wasn't thought of yet, but they were the equivalent of what we call indies today. Yeah.
So, in other words, yesterday's shareware companies are today's indies.
That's correct. And to me, like, they're all third party. If you're not the console manufacturer making games for your own, machine, then you're third party. But I don't separate like that. It's like, to me, I don't see indie games as indie. I just see them as third-party games that may be lower budget, but they use the resources they have very, very well. I mean, look at Shovel Knight and Armillo and a few other games out there. They're very well. They kind of harken back to how games are supposed to be, where they may not be the prettiest, but I can definitely tell you they are some of the most creative and some of the most fun and challenging.
Yeah, definitely.
But that word indie is what's creating like this. It's kind of like a negative connotation. It just seems bad. It's kind of like Andre said. It's like welfare. Like they see it as just cheap. I don't want it. Never AAA. Not worth my time. What? Because it doesn't cost $60. Because it doesn't take it doesn't take up 25 gigs of space. Because it doesn't look like a movie or have cutscenes. It does not mean the game is not fun. Right now, I'm playing Triple Deluxe. If you want it, you can actually say that's an indie game. In a sense, because of the way it looks. But I can tell you this. It's challenging as hell, and it's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Here's why I don't understand I didn't buy this hardware to play cheap little indie games. Because the biggest, I would guess, I'm guessing on this, you can correct me if I'm wrong, indie games, for what I know, sell the most on platforms like a Steam or something like that. And you don't buy a PC. You don't build your PC. It can be from $400 to a couple $1,000. You don't build your PC to play indie games, but you still you will still go out and buy those indie games when they come. So why is that a stipulation that you can only buy the big budgeted titles for your consoles? Like I just don't understand that mentality. Like, you can still, there's still going to be AAA titles for your console to buy. But in the meantime, support these, awesome indie games that, like you guys were saying, that they're very inventive. Yeah, a lot of them are cheap, but man, there's some really fun games, some really great experiences, like a Shovel Knight, like a Armillo, and I can go on and on.
But I can definitely tell you that, like, for example, what was the game I was going to mention? I just forgot it that quick. Gosh, I can't. I cannot. I just lost it, guys. You had to go. I just lost the game.
I wanted to bring something up though concerning this topic. If you notice, there's larger studios that are using smaller, more focused groups to release new products, like what Ubisoft did with Child of Light. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing with that other game that they sat up there and announced at E3. It was the one that was a World War I epic. I forgot what it was called.
Valiant Heart.
Yes, there you go. And games like that, basically, that are focused on small, small development groups and a targeted audience. They're starting to make money. They're starting to see the value in, the way that the indie movement is bringing gaming to the masses.
Well, honestly, I think like a lot of do you think like a lot of that comes down to skill level when you start talking about indies? Because some, like you said, like we say Shovel Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shovel Knight is unforgiving. I like it because I have fun with stuff like that. But do you really think some of these newer gamers gonna play stuff like that? Probably not. They can't.
What
They can't stand it. They
what
can't
what?
stand stuff like that.
Well, there is one game that they actually play, and believe me, I'm pretty sure they bought it if it ended up on a console. But Candy Crush, that's an indie game.
Oh,
But that's an indie game, is it
Yeah.
not? That is an
Well,
indie game.
yeah, that's a mobile. Yeah, that's a mobile indie game. But I don't, like I said, well, I guess because we were giving examples of games that was actually on console. So, um, I my thought on that is basically, does it come down to skill level and does it come down to like ignorance? Because like with Child of Light, I heard a lot of people. I enjoyed the hell out of that game. I thought that game was awesome. But I heard a lot of people say I'm not gonna play no game where a hero is a 5-year-old girl. I'm like,
You
really,
know,
dude?
if you ignore that game for such a stupid reason,
Yeah.
then you are robbing yourself of a very great experience. I know from experience that game is boss. You love RPGs, get it, but if you're willing to overlook it because of something like that, well, fine by me, go right ahead.
And that was coming out of people's mouth. That's not like that. This is like coming from people who call themselves gamers.
Mm.
You know,
So
I think the reason people kind of discount indies is because a lot of the people who it's a two-pronged thing. First, a lot of people when they say indies, like GVGI said, it kind of has a negative thing. They're like, well, it's just indies, and the thing is that like because they'll use this to knock the Wii U. Well, it doesn't have third-party support. What do you think indies are? They're third parties. They aren't heavily affiliated. They aren't affiliated with the console manufacturer. They aren't like a subsidiary of the console manufacturer, so they aren't second party. They are a third party publisher putting games on a platform, whether it be PC or console or whatever. And I mean, a lot of people people have a lot of gamers have been conditioned to think that unless a game costs like $200 million to make and has to sell like 600 like not 600 6 million units in order to be just break even, and that's a horrible way to be conditioned, but that's what they think.
That's right. That's right. All right. So have we all expressed our opinions on this topic?
Yep.
I think so.
Yep.
All right. Well, before I get to the next one, I'd just like to direct our audience's attention to the bottom left of your player. Right there, you will see a button which will lead you to the questions and question and answers page on Google+. There you can leave us a question. We'd love to answer it just about to the end of the show. So you can just leave your questions there, and we try to get to you towards the end of the show. But the next topic. This is something I wanted to talk about a while ago, and it happened quite some time back, but I think we have a few things to say about it. Google, Twitch. Opinions?
Well, I could say this much. I hope they don't do to Twitch what they already do to Google Plus. You know what I'm saying? When we try to set up Hangouts and whatever, yes, that's right, Google. We're talking about you. You make it a chore sometimes to pull it off. Please don't do that to Twitch.
The only thing I was thinking of, and hopefully they'll do this, and it would be a positive thing, is to have Twitch type live streaming in the Hangouts, because the screen sharing they have now is rather choppy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it?
And he's out.
The
Hey,
thing
I got
is
this.
that I never really used Twitch, so it was kind of like,
Okay, all right. I guess I'll give my opinion. Maybe that'll inspire a little bit of a fervor in here. Here's the thing. I am not a huge fan of Google. Yes, we're using Google right now. Yes, it's the only way we have our podcast, and it's for the most part smooth. However, they have their issues, and I just feel that a little bit of consolidation in what they have is needed before they expand. Furthermore, here's the thing about it. YouTube, they already bought YouTube, right? And when it comes to internet video sharing, Twitch, you could say, was their direct and their only competition of any merit. Now that they own them too, they've really pretty much got an internet video sharing monopoly, which means what? They can do what they want. They no longer have to listen to the persons who make this thing run, the YouTubers, what do you call Twitch guys? The Twitchers? Whatever. Right? So, they don't have to listen to any feedback because they don't for YouTube anymore because they don't really care about us. So the fact of the matter is that now they'll fall into a mindset that they're invincible. They can do what they want. They can change YouTube as they've been changing YouTube. They'll change Twitch as much as they want. There'll be no repercussions for it because there's nowhere else for anyone to go. If you recall, earlier on this year, we had copyright Armageddon on YouTube, and everyone was freaking out and buzzing out, and they were running to Twitch. But now there is nowhere to run because Google, the same company that you're running from, now owns that too. So it's a lack of competition. As you well know, competition drives good services and, drives, in the case of games or other services, drives prices. And, it just makes quality happen. And now that there's a monopoly, that's it. Game over, man. That's the way I look at it.
I say if they screw up Twitch, I feel bad for them because you're going to see a lot more people look at Vimeo and Dailymotion a lot harder.
I was gonna say that's why I'm not too worried about it because there's always gonna be somebody else, even though they're tiny right now. If YouTube and Google want to start messing around, playing around with us, we'll run over there. We'll make them big. I think.
See, that's just the thing. I want to again direct your attention to earlier this year. Yes, some people left. Classic Game Room left. A few other notable people on YouTube left. But really and truly, there needs to be a mass exodus. I mean, a mass exodus for anyone at Google to even pay notice and say, hey, maybe we should change that back. Or maybe we should do things a little bit differently. Maybe we should actually listen and stop, being, this overlord of the system. If one or two people leave, no one's going to care. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. Again, one or two are going to leave, and the majority are going to say, no, I'm established on YouTube. I'm established on Twitch. I don't want to leave because I have to start over. I'm not willing to do that. So,
but isn't that kind of what happened? Because I don't know if it wasn't one or two, but we don't have that same algorithm thing they had in place. That's gone now. So I don't know. I think that had a lot to do with a lot of the complaining and people, being really upset and threatening to leave. We live in we're in a small little bubble, but I'm sure Google and YouTube got hit up with complaints out the wazoo about what was going on. Because even me, back then I was rarely monetizing videos, and I would monetize something that that had nothing in it, and I would still get hit. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm sure they were hitting me like that. They were hitting a lot of the bigger dudes like crazy, and they got that feedback, and that's why that thing is gone now. That's my assumption, but
I will say this much about it. It seems that you're right that Google is trying to partially get rid of their competition. This also is giving them another platform that they can have ads in and monetize and get money out of. Because, and the thing is that they don't have to set up the infrastructure themselves. It's already set up, and they just bought them out. It's basically like I don't have to build the house. It's already built. I just buy it.
Right.
But I feel you on the paranoia, man. Screw Skynet. I'm worried about Google. Google goes
man. See, here's the thing, though. I'm going to paint a grim future for Twitch, right? I'm going to paint a grim future for Twitch. How long do you think it's going to take before, in order to use Twitch, you have to integrate your Google Plus account?
Oh, no.
2 weeks? Then, I'm pretty sure that's already in the works.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
How long before you go onto a Twitch feed trying to watch some video gameplay or something like that, and a message comes up saying, due to copyright reasons, this stream is unavailable? Yep. Yeah, that's my grim future, and that's what I'm fearing right now. Because, oh man, it's
That would
just
be
sad, man.
horrifying.
Yeah, it is just sad. You see, the guy who sold YouTube, I can't remember the name or anything right now. If anyone can, you can just jump in with that. He came to regret it. He was remorseful that he had done it when he saw what Google did to it. So, in any of you guys' opinion, do you think the Twitch guys are going to be the same way after a few years?
It depends. It depends. I don't know how much they got paid.
I don't think they're going to be remorseful. I think they're laughing all the way to the bank.
1 billion. 1 billion.
Yeah, they're laughing all the way
They
to the
could.
bank. And if they care that much, they might take some of that money and start something else that's like Twitch, and start it all over again.
And then sell it again to Google.
And then sell it again to Google. So
And, yeah, they can come up and make something called Bitch, and then Google buys it. And then,
Oh man.
yeah.
Oh Lord.
No, that's gonna make a really great headline. Google buys bitch for $1 billion.
Hey, they can make a special category for all the drama videos and whatever.
You know what though? You know what though? That will actually end up with them getting in trouble because it's like prostitution that they participate getting into. So that can end up bad for them based on the catchphrase on that.
All right, this is taking a turn now.
Yes, it is. So we should probably step away from that.
yeah.
Let's see. Any other topics, guys? Anyone who wants to bring anything up?
I do have one.
Go for it.
I made a post about this recently, but I'm not sure if you guys read this, but the Motley Fool released an article saying that that Mario Kart 8, why Mario Kart 8 failed to save the Wii U, failed to save it, and I just didn't understand where they got the logic from. But then again, I was just like, well, that's pretty much every gaming outlet out there that thinks Nintendo is doomed once again. I guess almost 3 million sold in a month or so after the game launched on one platform is a failure.
Well, I mean, it is a failure because you know what? Only 46% of the total Wii U install base has bought that game. Why haven't everyone who owns a Wii U bought Mario Kart 8? Yeah, it's a total. I don't know why these selfish people are like that. Jerks.
And this is part of the same thing with the Iwata thing. This is, it's funny that the company that's supposed to be so irrelevant, nobody cares about, gets all this ink, and it's always this kind of ink that it gets because they know that that's what gets the clicks. And that's all this is, again. It's just, let's do some negative Nintendo article, get people hype, and get people, flipping and crying and jumping all over each other. That's what this is. This is the same thing. And I'm getting so weary of it. Like,
because
it's so lame.
I'm going to say something that you deliberately don't like. So in order for you to come and argue against me, you're going to have to click it, which gives me money, which makes me happy. And I'm going to respond to that. You're going to have to rebuke that, which gives me more money.
And I just want to throw this in real quick. Like, the same thing goes for GameSpot. Like, everybody, was giving Last of Us 10 out of 10s and all of that, and they give it an 8. You think that wasn't on purpose? I mean, they did that because it's controversial at that point to give it an 8.
All right, I was actually thinking it was just an honest review that was taken the wrong way by the.
No, don't get me wrong. It was honest. They could, but the thing is, they could have easily went along with everybody else. They could have given it a 9 or something like that, But, and this is just me being observant, maybe over observant. But they've done it before. But they've done stuff that they knew would get people hyped, like giving a link between World's Game of the Year. Stuff like that. We might feel it deserves it, but they knew what the backlash was going to be, and that's what they were looking for. They were looking for that backlash, and they got it.
That's a different perspective. I hadn't really thought about it that way. So yeah,
that's what T's here for.
Yeah, that's a really good one, man. I really didn't think about it that way. But any other opinions on this? No.
It's the Motley Fool, man. It's the Motley Fool. Come on, they're just like NeoGAF. Any news site that calls their readers fools, they're telling you what they think about you.
Oh, in
It's
all
only good if you call them
investment
fools.
site, but
You gotta call. You put an S on the end, fools. Then it's okay.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean,
All
I'm
right.
not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not big on sales like that. I really could care less. But how can they think that 4 million sales for Watch Dogs across 5 platforms is successful, but nearly 3 million on one platform in about a month's time, a little bit over a month, is unsuccessful? Like,
All well, I
Because
mean,
That's
math,
Cherry
man.
picking.
No, because
let's
math, man. Math would tell you that. I mean,
no.
sure as hell.
Let me put it this way. Okay.
there's nothing to say. I understand.
Mario Kart 8 sold what, like what? 1 point, no, what was it? Like 1.8 million in like 3 days when it first came out.
It was like
It was
1.2
like
million.
1.2. Yeah.
1.2, whatever. 3 days, 1.2 million. I guarantee that when it hit 1 million, it had already basically paid for itself. Everything over that is just money going to Nintendo's pocket.
Right.
probably less than that. Probably around 7 or 8.
I would say
My guess would have been around 500,000. They met their goal.
Yeah.
Okay. I was given a liberal estimate because
I know you was just being generous. I know.
No, they're using look. The graphics are I'm including graphics in the fact that they're using, because I mean people, like, I've heard people talking about how the Wii U is so weak. I'm like, it's the most powerful Nintendo console thus far. So I mean they obviously got to get used to it. They gotta they gotta let that Mustang run before they get used to it a little bit.
Right on. All right.
But, I mean, so they're getting used to it, and I mean now it's like this really awesome system.
Right.
Hold on. There's one thing I just thought of to put it in perspective
Uh-huh.
for the comparison of Watch Dogs sales to Mario Kart 8. Look at it like this: across 5 platforms, Watch Dogs is supposedly reaching an audience of maybe 170 million people. Break that down to just 170 people. If this game was made 100 and 170 people were the audience, about 4 people bought it. Mario Kart 8, you had about 6 people for your audience. 2 to 3 people bought it.
Interesting.
Think
That's
about that.
actually interesting.
Yeah, but ratios have no place in the gaming industry, man. It doesn't matter.
dude, you're being entirely too rational, man.
Yeah,
It's actually making sense, man. You can't make sense in the gaming industry.
Yo. Okay, I just like to
Hey,
drop.
for me, the only things that should be nonsense is the end game.
I just want to drop a disclaimer right now. The opinions of Andre GVGN, you are not those of the gamers at large. So if he's too rational for you and he blows your mind, please don't sue us.
Yeah,
How
go
dare
ahead
you
sue me
make
so I can
sense?
sue me so I can make money off your irrational lawsuit.
Don't come to us with math, fools.
Oh Lord.
All right, so let's get into some of these questions. First up, we got one from 219 Gary, Indiana. Miss K, who is also a member of the Gamers at Large, but she's sending in a question just. Thank you. She asks, what do you guys think about Devil's Third? I'm stoked to see what this game is all about. Do you think this game is a sleeper? Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, it's a sleeper. It's a
I
sleeper.
would chime in and say it is a sleeper. It really is a sleeper, but it's going to. I believe it's going to change the way we play shooters, at least before Splatoon comes out.
Hmm.
I actually think Splatoon's coming out before it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought
That's what I
Splatoon
was
would come
thinking.
out before it.
I'm gonna be frank with you. Devil's Third. I'm not a huge multiplayer shooter person. Ever since because I played online shooters like back in the day, like Unreal and Halo and stuff on PC. But this is the first game I've seen the multiplayer for, and I'm like, wow, I still want to play that multiplayer. It's the first new online multiplayer shooter I've seen that interested me because it looks incredibly different. I mean, aside from Splatoon, but I mean, this is like this has a traditional veneer, but it looks very different.
Right.
Very deep detailed. I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
You
All
can make your
right.
own levels.
It is
That's all I gotta
Itagaki.
say.
It is
Um,
Itagaki, so Itagaki's known for doing stuff differently. So
All
oddly
right.
enough, oddly enough, I'm going to look at this game as Nintendo's equivalent to what Halo did for the Xbox.
That's a bold statement.
That's a very bold
That's a,
statement,
that's
sir.
a
Is
tall
that
order
is
just
there.
looking at
yeah.
the whole system to be able to set up your own fortress, which is kind of like the Forge in Halo. It's and
Okay.
the variety of things that you'll be able to do and different
W-
characters. It'll definitely be impressive.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the opinions of GBG and you are not those of the Gamers Alive.
Okay,
Only
See,
I'll
that's-
definitely
see-
for a
see,
little
that's
bit
the-
lighter. I'll harken it back to Perfect Dark on the 64.
There you go.
Mm,
No,
I
see-
ain't-
alright,
there you
yeah.
go. There
See,
you go.
that's the thing that really caught my attention was the actual single player looks like it's going to be fun,
Oh.
but the multiplayer with you can create your own base, you can create a clan with other people from a country and do all types of cool stuff with. I mean, that looks really cool to me, and I mean, and I'm not a Tomonobu Itagaki fan, but I mean, this game is definitely going to be on my must-buy list.
Definitely. All right, so we've got one from Mega Zave. I think I'm saying that right. What are your thoughts on people complaining about gaming droughts in Wii U but not acknowledging the backwards compatibility to play games missed out on? And well, we can answer this, and indie games as well. So anyone, just quickly acknowledge, your thoughts.
Honestly, not only what he's talking about. We have the indies and whatnot to call us, but what about the fact that the gamer drop for the Wii U was the news every day, loud, rash, screaming, but the gaming drought for the PS4 and Xbox One ain't.
Right, definitely.
I'll tell you what's real funny, that no one's talking about how you can't even carry over your digital downloads from last gen to this gen with the PS3 and the PS4. I can understand physical media not being backwards compatible, but I mean digital stuff.
I can't.
Digital stuff.
They get no pass for Xing out backwards compatibility. I'm sorry, they get no pass for that. If you are supposed to be a next-gen most powerful console ever conceived, the least you can do while you're in the gaming drought or while you're getting acclimated to the system's hardware is at least allow me access to play the games from the last generation. If Nintendo can do it, you can do it. And if Nintendo is the weakest console that you always want to claim that it is, then why is the weakest console doing something that you supposedly, in my eyes, cannot do? But the truth is, you can, but you choose not to.
Hold on, no. Sony is doing it. They're charging you for it.
They're doing it. They're slapping remastered on it. They're slapping remastered on it.
No, you mean Last of Us Recoded? Yeah.
No,
I see it as recoded because all they did is port that damn game.
No, I mean PlayStation later.
Oh, that's raw, man.
No, greatness awaits and waits and waits. And waits, and you're gonna be waiting through Christmas till next year.
What game are we still waiting? What game is everyone still waiting?
I don't know, but
was it
I haven't
Last
seen
Guardian?
anything this year that's.
All right, let's not
Isn't
be
the Last
fanboys
Guardian
now.
still on hold like Duke Nukem Forever was?
Andre, look, listen. People need to, you and other people need to come to the conclusion. You finally need to understand Last Guardian was never a game. That never existed. They never started development on it. I don't even care what Shuhei or Andrew House says. It's all lies. That thing doesn't exist.
Okay. Hold on, Zen. You mean
It's
to
the
tell me
power of
that?
hope.
You mean to tell me that Final Fantasy VII HD and Final Fantasy 15 and all those games that never really existed?
They're tech demos.
Look, listen. Final Fantasy VII HD is never going to happen. When that happens, expect the day they release that game, Square dies. That's it.
Hold on.
Why don't we talk about Ubisoft and Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Y'all said Final Fantasy VII HD. Wasn't that Avid Children Complete?
But remember they actually when the PS3 came out, they released a tech demo showing Final Fantasy VII,
I was so
Yeah.
ticked off at them. I
and
was like,
that
"Oh, it's
game
coming out."
never came to fruition. Never.
It did. It was called Advent Children. They made a movie out of it. They
These
did.
dudes,
No,
these
I'm
dudes
sorry.
stood
I
up
did
on
not.
stage.
I did not see the train station in that movie.
These dudes stood up on stage, said, "Hey, this is what the PlayStation 3 can do, but we're not actually going to do it."
I was so.
No,
I was
look, no.
Trophies.
You know,
You
look,
don't know how mad
they
I
took
was.
a look at Final Fantasy VII. They said, no, that'll sell too good. Let's go make 3 Final Fantasy 13s.
But you know what's funny is what they said. When fans kept asking, then they finally came out and said, "We make a Final Fantasy that tops 7 sales, then we'll remake 7."
Which is rather stupid because that's not going to happen.
That's not gonna happen.
They know
But
that.
yeah,
It's like the same excuse why they don't come up with a decent sequel for Chrono Trigger. They keep saying, "Oh, we got to see more interest in it."
Yeah.
People, okay. There have been how many fan groups that have tried to make games and then Square shut them down?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't enough
That's-
interest.
I'm sorry, that's playing fan interest to me.
I'm sorry.
That was not enough.
I think Square just hates money because to me, you cannot love money when you got a diehard fan base that's saying if you remake these particular games, you're basically guaranteed 3, 4, 5 million copies sold.
You know, to tell you the truth, with Square Enix, if they would just make a Chrono Trigger sequel using the engine they used for Dragon Quest VIII, which works out because Armor Bird Studios, Akira Toriyama's studio, did all that artwork. I would be perfect. Look, really, it doesn't look. I am not interested in. Neither do I want graphics from anyone associated with Final Fantasy 13, 12. 11,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
just those guys. Except the thing is that the people who made Chrono Trigger, that awesome game, they work at Intelligent Systems, Monolith Soft, Mistwalker Studios. They don't work at Square Enix anymore. So I mean, the magic is gone.
Right.
But you know what though, man? I'm sorry, but I need Sakaguchi back.
Well,
He's not
escaped.
coming back.
He
Yeah.
escaped, and he's like, he escaped, and that man is glad to be free of those people who made him make those terrible games.
All right, so let's have one more topic to send us home, and I think I have the perfect one. Hyrule Warriors not having online after all.
Well, I could see why people would like that inside that game because there's been previous iterations of Dynasty Warriors, if I'm not mistaken, that had some type of online component. Am I right?
You're right. You're right.
So it would stand to reason that people would want to see something like this brought out on the Nintendo platform. Especially when it's dealing with one of their flagship titles. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Zelda is obviously a flagship of Nintendo, so you would definitely people would definitely want to have the opportunity to play multiplayer online with that, and I don't blame them. But hey, it is what it is.
Yep.
It's not gonna stop me from buying it.
Yo,
Yeah.
we had such a roller coaster with the news with this game. It is having online. Yay! It is not having. Oh, it is having. It is not having online. Oh,
I mean,
it is just back and forth all along. But I'm still gonna get the game. But I can't help but feel a little disappointed that I won't be able to play with you fine gentlemen.
Well, from what I understand, it's gonna have it's not gonna have online co-op, but it'll have
like the leaderboards and stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna have some weird online thing, but not like online co-op. And we'll discover more tomorrow.
Yeah, well, yes. I suppose
we'll
I almost
find
completely
out.
forgot.
We'll find out the truth.
I forgot.
We'll
I'm
know.
straight up.
And I hope they have Iwata pop up with that hospital gown on and say Chokudetsu directly to you.
Oh man! All right, so no more opinions on that. No more. I guess we're done.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, as a fan of Dynasty Warriors, Musu type games, I was never expecting online of any kind. So This whole thing passed me by.
Ah, okay, yeah. You're an old school Dynasty Warriors fan.
But
You're
wanted
probably looking at the
it,
rest
but
of us and
didn't
saying,
expect it.
noobs. Yeah, T's were looking at us and saying, goddamn noobs.
You bunch of noobs.
Put Zelda in a Warriors game. All of a sudden, they're the experts. Oh man! All right, so I guess we're all gassed out for the day. So we should move on to our outros, our sign off. Starting off from my right, going left. Kwame Manchu, do your thing.
Alright, this is Kwame Chuk, UMC, doing what I do, and as I always say, whatever's clever.
All right, next up, Red Fox.
This is Mr. Red Fox saying, play on, play fast, play hard.
You kind of sound like you made it up on the spot, but anyway.
I did. Totally pulled that out of the air.
Exposed.
You got me. You got me.
Yeah, I saw that pause, man. I heard that pause. All right, let's go. Let's go with that. Okay, T, what do you think?
Hey fools, it's Mr. T of the Mr. T Show. Got a video coming out pretty soon after this podcast, and keep gaming, fools.
All right, Ken, you're up next.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Feelgood here. I'm glad to be a part of it, and as I always say, keep it gaming.
All right, Jay.
It's been fun. Jay from the Game Cafe.
Wow.
Short. Okay, Jamie.
Well, guys, it's been fun. This has been said a couple of times now. But anyway, it's been fun. Keep it butterworthy.
And Andre.
This is Andre of GBG. I see you interrupted me. This is Andre at GVG. And you people enjoy your games and peace out.
All right, and I was your host tonight, Zen the Zen Gamer, the one and only king of logic. Thank you guys for watching, listening, doing everything you do. You're awesome. Stay cool. Deuces. We out.